Ew. Happy Friday. I had my brain is just whirling with all the things. How is everybody? Happy Friday, happy Halloween. Do we have any big Halloween supporters in here? Or supporters, celebrators, I should say. I tell ya. Um, yeah, we're kind of low key around here, honestly. And I usually leave it up to Bo as to whether we celebrate or not. Sorry, a yarn over there caught my eye. Hmm. Uh, and in the last couple of years, we haven't really celebrated much, but I have noticed that we're getting more and more kids in this neighborhood. When Connor and Morgan were little, they were like the only two little kids in the neighborhood. There was just no other little kids that I ever saw. But more and more are coming in, young families. And so, with the weather being so beautiful, oh, so beautiful, Bo said, let's sit outside and hand out candy tonight. I said, let's do it. Of course, that means there's no hockey game on tonight because otherwise that wouldn't be happening. I'm sure someone would be inside watching a hockey game. How are y'all doing? Anne, hello. And Linda, I love it. Valera is here. Let's see. I think, do I see all the Pate ladies? And Donna from not sweltering Florida. I know. Isn't it gorgeous out there? Oh, I'm getting to wear a little bit of, I did not knit this one, but it's a perfect fall sweater that I love. So I like to pull it out as soon as the weather gets just a little bit chilly. Is it chilly? I don't know. It was this morning. It was nice. Let's see, Laura. Are you all talking? See, Lynn, did you say Advent? Yeah, we're going to talk about that. Hey, Karen, glad to see you. And Kim. Oh, there's Deborah Sue. So that means all three Pate ladies are here. Hello. You did decorate this year, Laura. Very good. I'll be honest. By the time I got out all of my fall stuff, it was about a week ago. Your pumpkin was sitting out, but I didn't get the rest of my pumpkins out until like last week. So they're all out. Fortunately, most of my decorations are good through all of fall and not just for Halloween. But yeah, anyway. So, hey, Tish. Oh, under a wind advisory, gusts of 45 miles per hour. Yeah. And then let's see, Diane here from Ontario. I love it. From rainy Ontario. I know, Linda, you said you all had rain earlier in the week. And then, oh, wow, Linda, only one other house on your road. How nice is that? I mean, not if you're into trick-or-treating, but, otherwise being out. I like that. And let's see, it's at Margaret Matthews, 59 degrees in Maryland. Do I have my initials correct? I would take 59 degrees. That's good weather. We're very much looking forward to being in Nashville in a month. So I'm hoping the weather, sometimes it's very cold when we're there at Thanksgiving, and then other times it's just kind of eh. So we'll take whatever. It's definitely cooler than here. So we'll take it. And we love, as you all know, we love the Nashville area. So we're excited to go. All right, so let's see. So it's basically 1 year for Swan City Yarns. Tomorrow marks the first official live video that I did, but we'll just say today. It's the day. And I did, you may have seen the newsletter. I did a special newsletter with a special thank you for all of you. And so I won't go into all of that again, but I will just say thank you. I can't say thank you enough for all of your support. It's been a great year. I'm happy. I was telling the Dying to Knit group yesterday that this was I think every week is busy, and then every once in a while I'll have a week that like just woo, like this week getting the advent calendars out. It was busy, but I said, you know what, I like that. I like to be busy, and so I'm glad for it. And I think it was what is her name? Nicole from Rehab Addict. I don't know. Are any of y'all fans of that show? I haven't watched it in years, but I think she's coming out with new episodes or something. And so a post came up on my Facebook feed, and she was saying something about, she used to say that she has to go here and she has to do this. And then she said, you know what? I realized I choose to do this. I choose to go here. I choose to go there. And I choose to do these things. And I was like, that's so true. I choose to be busy, and I choose to work hard, and I love it. And I just appreciate all of the kind words that y'all have said to me. Like I said in my newsletter, if you've come by the booth, if you said hi, if you've given me a Facebook like or an Instagram like or a share or a hashtag, yarn shop owners who've ordered wholesale from me, all of that, every single bit, I'm so thankful for, and I really appreciate it. Every bit means a lot. So, and it looks like Star is on Instagram from North Carolina. Welcome, Star. So glad you're here. And Lonnie, yes, I get to do. That's right. That's I like to do. I have a Peloton bike, and the instructors are big. Boy, they talk about some motivational speaking. Every class, they're like, I get to be here. I get to wake up and do this. And that's so true. So, but yeah, so thank you all so much. Now, because of that, if y'all remember a while ago, I don't remember how long ago it was, I got some Swan stitch markers, and I had them in a bowl just like this. And I I gave them out to every single order that went out. I put a stitch marker on. I had white and I had black. Well, I had Anne from Twin Mommy make me up some new stitch markers, Swan stitch markers. So there are two varieties. Each one is a tiny bit different, but here is one, a pink and kind of aqua blue Swan. And then the other, because I told her just pick some fun acrylic colors. And so these are the ones we got. And then this one is green, and there's blue in there too. This one doesn't show it very much, but there, green and blue. How awesome is that? So those are the two main ones. And then the ever elusive black swans are also in here. Not as many, because there are not as many black swans as there are others. But so those are in there. And so, and I don't remember how many I ordered, but there's a lot. I've already started putting some out on the orders that went out today. And I will put one in every single order that goes out until these are done. All right. And what I do is as I fill orders, I just come in, I grab one, and I put it on a skein of your yarn. So these will also go out on subscription. So if you're in Dying to Knit monthly mini club, until I run out, then you'll get a Swan stitch marker. So just a little something fun that I like to do. Oh, thank you, Jill. Happy first anniversary. And Linda, oh, y'all must be talking about. Oh, some Yarny treats for you, Margaret. That's awesome. I love it. Oh, and Dallas is chilly. Very nice. Liz, I think it's fair to say, oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that more than you know. Yes, surviving that first year is everything. Oh, wow. Has it already been a year, Lonnie, at this job? I love that so much for you. I hope that you're happy. You seem to be very busy these days, traveling and all such things. So awesome. I'm glad y'all like the stitch markers. Okay. 20th anniversary, Liz. That is crazy. Wow. That's some dedication there. I love it. Kim, I was going through my stash and found my little swans. That's awesome. Yeah, that's incredible. Well, I hope, Liz, that they showed you some appreciation at your job for 20 years. That's crazy. That's a lot of years. All right, now moving on. Okay, we have some winners. We have the Triagonal Shawl winner to announce. And we have our October Fiber Challenge winner. So as you know, we'll start with October, all right? And then I never did post what the prize is. And I'm sorry for that. I'm trying to do better, but sometimes these things just, whatever, they fall through the cracks. However, I did pick out a sock set, meaning you get a full skein and a mini skein. So our winner for the October Fiber Challenge gets this skein on Swanky Sock, and this was a one of a kind that I did a while ago. It's called Tawny. So it's 150 grams. Thank you very much. So you get a skein and a half. I like it on Swanky Sock. And then I'm pairing it with Sweater Weather on a Swanky Sock Mini. So you can do with it as you will. If you want to knit socks, great. If not, that's okay too. So our winner is, dun, dun, dun. Let me make sure I say it correctly. Yep, Carol Burdett. Very nicely done, Carol. So you are our winner for the October Fiber Challenge. Now, the next winner, where should I put this so I don't forget to get it shipped out? All right, our next winner is the triagonal winner. You notice that I'm not wearing mine, which means I didn't get mine finished. Oops. Actually not. I did do some other things, so that's okay. But and thank you all for participating, by the way. I noticed when I went through all the comments and posts for the October Fiber Challenge, I think I had more entries than I have for any other fiber challenge. I think that's awesome. So the triagonal shawl knit along, that winner is, and they get a $50 gift card to Swan City Yarns, and that winner is dun 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 Tammy Smith, or as we know her, Cindy Harrison. Congratulations. Which it was funny when I put in the total number of posts and comments, and then I do a random number generator. So it gave it to me, and then I was scrolling through, and as I was going through, it was getting to right in the middle of a lot of her posts, because if y'all were following Cindy, she did like 4 triagonal shawls and posted a lot of pics in between. And so it was getting into where she was doing, and I was like, oh, I bet Cindy's the winner. I could just tell as I was getting down to it. Sure enough, Cindy is our winner. So congratulations. So Linda, Sweater Weather needs to grow up to be a big skein. It probably should. I'll have to do that at some point. That is it's definitely a good color. That was one of the skeins from Monthly Mini Color Club. So yeah, it's a good one. Let's see. Bliz, balloons and a plaque. Well, I'm glad you got that. I think you're worth more than that, but that's just my opinion. But I'm glad that you did get some recognition. So that's good. Yes, congratulations to the winners for sure. So I will get those sent out and taken care of. So, all right, now, y'all, we have quite the parade of Swan projects, whips, and FOs to show you. One thing I wanted, before I forget, do y'all I'm assuming you like for me to show whips and FOs on here. Feel free to give me feedback, by the way. If there's something that you want to see more of, something that you don't really care about, you want to see less of, let me know. I'm always open to suggestions. I may not be able to do it, but maybe I will. You never know. So just let me know. Hey, Diane, glad to see you here. Scarborough says yes to whips and FOs. I'm glad. I enjoy it myself. I love seeing all the pictures, and I love that you all post them throughout the week. And I know that sometimes I forget them because I'll be like, at the end of the day, you know how sometimes when you're laying in bed or you're doing something and other things go through your mind, and then I'll be like, oh, I remember liking that picture, but I don't think I grabbed a pic. I didn't grab my own, snapshot, because that's usually where I do it, is on my phone. I grab a quick snapshot, save it in my photos, and then at the end of the week, just before the live, at some point I make whip pics. So, but sometimes I realize, oh, I don't think I grabbed a snapshot of that. So, you know, feel free if you ever are like, dude, I've been posting my whip for multiple times now and you're not showing it. You're welcome to call me out on it. Because what can I say? Sometimes I, I get busy and or just am distracted as I'm scrolling through. So, all right, first up, I love this. Speaking of triagonals, this is Carol Burdett's version of the triagonal shawl, and she did. Let me get my notes. So she did red hot, apples and oranges, pumpkin patch, sunflower, and pumpkin harvest were all in this version of the triagonal, and it's beautiful, perfect for fall, actually anytime really, but I just love it. It's gorgeous. And then she's been a busy bee because she also finished her sea glass tea. And I don't, did I show this? I may, if I showed it last week, I'm sorry. I just love it so much. So this, the sea glass tea, if you're familiar with that pattern at all, it has you using up a bunch of different colors. And so, but she, because Sand Between My Toes is such a variegated colorway, she held one strand of it throughout and then held other strands as well. And I just love the pattern that she ended up with here of color. The pattern of color that you see throughout is just gorgeous. I love it so much. And then Sue did, she said, I didn't want to knit another pair of socks. Whether it's Socktober or not, or Sockvember, as Donna might say. But so she decided to do a sock head slouch hat, and she used Ghoul Next Door, and it looks fabulous. I love it so much. Very nicely done. Cheryl posted another picture of her Renaissance sweater. I love it so much. She's using Keeping It Cool and Swan White. Talk about some serious color work going on there, but hers is like flawless. It's so pretty. Can't wait to see that done. I think this might be her second one that she's done of this pattern, if I remember correctly. And then another triagonal, Terry. Oh, I love this one so much. I think she used the Under the Mistletoe mini set for hers. She did note that she had to use way more yarn than the pattern called for. Well, I don't know, but it's gorgeous. So nicely done, Terry. All right, now let us begin, shall we, our parade of socks, because we are quite the avid group of sock knitters. So first of all, Angie finished up this pair. I know I showed it a couple weeks ago and I had the pattern name then, but I don't remember what it is now. However, she used a brown that she had in her stash, and then she used up her Dog Days of Summer mini skein for the cuff and toes, and that was a monthly mini color club. Very nice, perfect for fall. I love that so much. Bobby is knitting up the double rib crew socks, the Summer Lee pattern, and she's using Sky, Berry, and Down the Rabbit Hole. And I think she said some from her stash as well. So looking good. I know she's on a trip, so I'm wondering how much knitting she's getting done right now. And then Linda posted, she got an early skein of Bloom Where You're Planted. And so she started knitting up some vanilla bean socks. Love it. Looking good. And then Star, oh, Star, I love this so much. She made a pair of socks. They're vanilla socks, toe up though, not just your ordinary cuff down socks. No, that will not do. This is her main color there is Melts in Your Mouth, which was a Dying to Knit colorway. And she's using persimmon and then a yellow. I think she said she didn't remember the name. And of course, I love the mismatch of the toes. How they're opposite. You know me, I love that in a sock. And then Billy is also knitting up a pair of socks. She's using Fat Tuesday and Leprechaun. How awesome does that look? I love it so much. All right. Anne finished up her color palette socks. Then, and of course, she's using the pastel set that I had put out earlier in the year. Tulips in Bloom, Bunny, Chicky, I think is heliotrope in there. I'm trying to remember. Anyway, awesome. They look so good, Anne. And of course, I love the mix up of colors as well. No matching socks here. I mean, they are kind of matching, but you know what I mean. They're not twinsies. They're sister socks. All right, Karen is using, she's using a vanilla DK sock pattern and Christmas at the Cabin, which she paired, I love this, with Gemini on her heel and toe. How gorgeous is that? And then her good friend and fellow troublemaker, Lisa, has an update on her vanilla sock. She's using Oh Christmas Tree and Velveteen, and she's using Silky Sock. I was thinking about this just the other day because a yarn shop owner asked me about Silky Sock, and I was telling her, well, that's what Helen is. She sells yarn stocks. And, talking about the difference between it and like Trusty Sock. Trusty Sock comes in at a lower price point, but the thing is, and a lot of people, I think, don't think about using Silky Sock for socks, but you totally can. It's got silk in there. It doesn't have nylon, but silk it does have, and it's super strong. Silky Sock is a little bit drapey. I was telling her that's my go-to for knitting Florida, summer tops, because it's drapey, looks good, feels great in Florida. But, I think a lot of people go for Trusty Sock because they just see it as more versatile, and maybe because it comes in at a lower price point. But you can absolutely make gorgeous, gorgeous, nice, lightweight, but strong socks out of Silky Sock as well. So I see we have a lot of comments. So let me check on those real quick. Okay, yeah. Oh, good. Y'all like seeing the whips and FOs. I appreciate that feedback. Linda, what are we drinking today? Bo needs to add, I know, a coffee recipe page to the website. So I am actually drinking another iced coffee. So I found these syrups. A lot of your flavored syrups have like corn syrup in it, or some version like dextrose or something that has corn in it that I can't have. But I forget what they're called. I found them on Amazon, a brand of syrups that they're not overly sweet, but they're flavored. I got vanilla, hazelnut, and caramel. And Morgan, I think I told you all this. Maybe was it last week that Morgan was tired of our usual iced coffee in the afternoon with just some cold brew and creamer, which I use what are the little pods that use almond milk? I forget what they're called. Something pods. Anyway, it's almond milk creamer. And so she was like, I'm getting kind of tired of that. So she started messing around with the syrups that I had, and perfect, just perfect. So that's what I'm drinking today. Every once in a while, when she's done it for a couple of weeks, then she'll be like, okay, it's your turn. I want a brown sugar shaken espresso or something. And then I'll make it. But yeah, I was a little busy today, so she had to make it. I missed Bo's idea. What was Bo's idea? Oh, yeah, in the newsletter. That's a good idea. Maybe I'll have to do that. You never know. Oh, Liz, all the sock varieties are so great. They almost make me want to try. We do have some very good sock knitters. I always say with socks that once you make a pair, that's not always true. I feel like most people, when they start knitting socks, it's like they start knitting socks and they always have a pair of socks on the needles. It's just a very nice go-to project, especially if you make vanilla socks. Because once you understand the construction of socks and you kind of have a go-to heel pattern, then you can literally, I don't even have to have a pattern at this point. I can just pick up a skein of yarn and start knitting a pair of socks. And I can't do that. I wouldn't do that with any other project. I don't knit enough hats, although you could, obviously, if you're someone who knits a lot of hats, you could do that. And I know people who do that with garments. They have a garment, like a Karen that I showed y'all her shirts last week that she knits the tops, and it's her go-to pattern. So you can pretty much do that with anything once you knit or crochet so many of them. And some people, of course, have more of an eye for that than others. I know I've met some people, crocheters especially, who will say, oh, I don't use patterns. I just do it on the fly. And because they can, especially with the amigurumi, it's like they can visualize it and they just go from there, which is awesome. But for me, that is a sock project. And I feel like that is the case for a lot of us sock knitters, that once we know what we're doing, like that's kind of a go-to project. And they're faster, if you're someone who's kind of project oriented, get things done. It gives you a, good boost of serotonin going on there. Yeah, that's good stuff. All right, let's see, where were we? Because we're not done. Donna, I love this. So she is using, well, she did use, I think, are you done? I'm trying to remember. So it's Christmas at the Cabin on Sparkly Sock, and she paired it with Lollipop Sea, which is just so phenomenal, because I would not have picked out that creamy shade in there of pink, but you can see where she's paired it, and it does bring out those tones in the main colorway. So, and she used something that I've never heard of. I'm curious if y'all have. She called it a bifurcated heel. And if you look at it, it looks like there's on the right side, the right picture at her heel, it's almost like there's two short row things coming in. So I'm guessing if you have, I don't want to say if you have a funny heel, but if your heel is, I don't know, in need of something like that, I can see how it would be very good. So anyway, I'm going to have to do some checking out on that, because I think that's very cool, actually. I like that a lot. So thank you, Donna, for sharing that. And then Jill, y'all, I love this. Neon at the North Pole, which is very much like Santa's acid trip, but it doesn't have the pink in there. So Neon at the North Pole has the red and the blue and the green, and it's just wild and crazy. And I absolutely love these socks. I'm trying to remember. I don't think Jill posted the name of the pattern, but they're so fun. I love them. All right. Carol, not to be outdone, also has a pair of socks that she's using. Let's see, Lotus, Indian Summer, and Mountbatten. Oh yeah, Mountbatten. I love that color. It's like a perfect mix between a cherry and a purple, and it just looks so good. And I think she said that she switched over to a short row heel. Much better. I'm right there with you, Carol. Short row heel any day of the week. All right, and then last, we will leave our parade of socks, and I thought I'd show you this. This is Lori's gauge swatch for her Sean sweater. It's beautiful. She's using a brown. If you look at her post under the official thread for the November Fiber Challenge, she has a blue that she had, and she came to the Fall Fiber Marketplace, and she had a couple of choices of fluffy lace, and she wanted help picking out. And I think Dottie from Knit and Stitch helped her finalize it, and she went with vintage on, which is a very light blue, on fluffy lace. And that was, so you can kind of see the vintage, the fluffy lace poking through there, because the brown yarn that she had was kind of brown and cream, which is just perfect for letting that light blue come through. So speaking of which, there is some more vintage in the shop now. So having said that, okay, so first of all, let me check hang on, I got to get myself situated here. Yes, Donna says 2 sets of short rows for big heels. Very nice. Hey, I understand. I have bunions. I was not on my heels, but I got to make room for my bunions, whatever I do in my shoes, my socks. Yeah. Donna, so with socks, yeah, you realize very soon that you can mix and match all sorts of toes, heels, cuffs. Absolutely. Yeah. I am obsessed. I know. It's awesome. I love it. And you can marl colors together. So not only in the patterns that you choose, but in the colorways that you choose and how you combine them. And it's just, I think that's why for me, socks are like the ideal project. And if for some reason you mess up, it's a small project, so it's not the end of the world. You haven't spent 40 hours, knitting this sweater or something like that. Hey, Cindy B, glad to see you on here. Love seeing whips and FOs. Okay. Diane Scarborough says socks. If you know, you know. Yeah, that's right. Hello, Evie. So glad to see you here. Is that a heart tattoo? That is a heart tattoo. So, Bo and I got this. I don't remember. Did we do it for something special? I don't think it was an anniversary or anything. Do y'all know no, I do have one. My book tattoo he doesn't have. But other than that, because I have so many, every tattoo that I have, Bo has a matching tattoo. This was the first one. We got the date we met tattooed. That was in St. Augustine. We did that. It was my very first tattoo. And then we got this in Nashville because I had the bright idea. Oh, every time we go somewhere on a trip, we should get a tattoo. Well, that quickly went down the tubes because it's kind of hard you can't just usually get in on the fly in a tattoo parlor, obviously. But anyway, and especially with a good tattoo artist. This is from our favorite tattoo artist who has since moved to Tennessee. But anyway, yeah, so we got this done. This is Bo's favorite style of tattoo. I think it's called American Traditional. Is that right, honey? How quickly I show what I don't know. And then he also did my book tattoo, the same guy. I forget his name though. I say it's our favorite. It's Bo's favorite tattoo artist. But anyway, yeah. So it's a heart tattoo. I need to get one of Swan City Yarns logo. That's my next one. We'll see when I get it. But, all right, I digress. Yeah, so our tattoo guy came up with that. Yeah, so Evie, he's in Tennessee now. But I think he comes back to Florida every once in a while. Didn't we see that? There you go. Yep, Corey Craft. Yeah, Bo has a lot more tattoos than I do, for sure. Okay, so what have I done? I finished them, y'all. I finished my Baddie for Halloween. I'm Baddie for Halloween socks by Charlotte Stone is her name. I would be wearing them on my feet, but my pants would be covering them up. So I will put them on and wear them tonight when we're sitting outside handing out candy. So, and I did, as I said, I did the color work up here. I left off the color work down here. I would not have finished them otherwise. I literally finished these last night before bed, quickly took them out to the dye studio and gave them a quick bath and stretched them out nicely. They fit perfectly. I love them. So that's Pumpkin Patch is my main color, and Pomp and Circumstance is the accent color. And look, y'all, I made twinsies. I can do it. I should have put like a one stripe of Pomp and Circumstance on one of the socks or something just to change it up a little bit, but I didn't. So they're identical. What do you know? And I did a shadow wrap heel. And I don't know if y'all care. Some of y'all probably have way more experience with different brands of DPNs and needles than I do. But if you're interested, I did try out 2 sets of DPNs on these socks. The very first sock, I used my Collage DPNs. That's, if you remember, it's Kollage. And they're metal, they're square, and I liked them. Perfect. They're a little bit longer. I forget what measurement these are, but they're a tiny bit longer than my Chaogu DPNs. So I'm guessing they're about 6 inches or so. Anyway, but I liked them. These were wonderful. And then on the second sock, when it got down to the toes, I used, did I lose one? Oh, there it is. I used my Dreams, the Knitter's Pride. I know they're the Dreams DPNs, and they're just round. I think they're bamboo. They're definitely wood. It's very smooth. However, because they're wood or bamboo, they were a little grippy. And not the end of the world. Perfect if you're a brand new knitter and you're worried about your stitches coming off. But if you're someone who's been knitting socks for a while, I won't. I'll keep these, obviously. And if I ever need wooden DPNs, bamboo, then I'll whip them out. But they won't be my go-tos for sure, because they definitely slowed down the yarn. And I may have been in a bit of a hurry by the time I got to my second sock last night. I knew as soon as the hockey game was over, Bo was probably gonna be ready to go to bed. And I was like, I'm getting these socks done. So, and I definitely did notice that they were just a tiny bit grippy on the yarn, that's obviously definitely good for slippery yarn. Birchwood. Thank you, Donna. See, I'm like, I know they're wood. I don't know. But yeah, so they're pretty. They're definitely pretty, but yeah. All right. Oh, Salty Stitches on Instagram. Hello. Glad to see you here. All right. Hey, Everdina. Glad to see you here. Everdina posted a picture on her Facebook page. She was dressed up, looking good. Looking good. All right. What else? Oh, okay. And then the other thing that I managed to get done last night when I went out to block my socks, I realized I had yet to block my gauge swatch from the Swan sweater. This is I went ahead and blocked it last night and pinned it out, and I will count my stitches. I'm pretty sure I'm good to go. So, but I'll double check that before I cast on. I'm not casting on until tomorrow. Tomorrow is November 1st. So I'll cast on tomorrow after I'm done dyeing yarn for the day. I've decided it's going to be a working weekend, y'all, because I've got some wholesale orders that need to go out and all that. So I'm using burnt butter and nautical wheelers. And so it's amazing to me, all the different colors in nautical wheelers, and what you pair it with really pulls out different colors. This burnt butter is really pulling out the browns sitting next to it. So anyway, so I'll cast on. I'm sure y'all have seen it, but just in case, there's the Swan sweater. So that's what I'm knitting. It's not too late. I still have the Swan kit listing up. If you want, you can still order. And if there's something else that y'all know, anytime you order 2 or more skeins, just send me an email and we'll get you set up and ready to go. I agree, Kim, they do look good together. So, Everdina, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. I am a Dutch soccer fan. Oh, okay. I thought never mind. I thought it was something else. Very nice. That's so cool. I love that. Diane, love burnt butter. I know y'all have been working with burnt butter for a while. This will be my first go at using burnt butter. And I just love the way the nautical wheelers on fluffy lace is just giving you pops of color there. So I want to do more of that, where I use 2 different colorways held together to kind of give a different visual than always using the same 2 colors. So let me look at my list. I thought there was something else I wanted to tell y'all. Oh, okay. So November Fiber Challenge. So November is also known as Nani Swimo, National Knit a Sweater Month. So we always do a knit along, crochet along. You're welcome to crochet. I posted the official rules in the newsletter and in the Swan City Stitchers Facebook group. So you don't have to post your WIP pics and FO pics online. You can email them to me if you're not on social media, but you can also post anywhere, Instagram, Facebook, and just do hashtag SCS November challenge. I think I'm going to have to come up with a new hashtag for next year, but I'll try to come up with one that's, easy to remember, so that every single month we just change it. Like maybe it'll be, I don't know, SCS January 2026 or something, something that is very consistent, so that it's not difficult to remember, because who wants to have to go look at the official rules every time? What am I supposed to post? So that it's easy to remember. So this year, every month has been SCS November challenge. But next year we need something to differentiate from this year, I guess. So I need it to be easy when I go looking for all the posts and everything to pick a winner. So the prize, I'm not sure what the prize is going to be yet. So let me think about that this week. I give you my word. Let me write myself a note to pick the prize. So you all know what you're getting. And if I decided, we had a lot of entries for October. Maybe that's because we're all avid sock knitters, most of us. But if there's a bunch of participation, then I'll do more than one prize in November. We'll do one like halfway through the month and then one at the end. So, okay. Linda says, I met with my sweater coach. Would her name also be Linda by chance? And picked out a beginner sweater pattern. So I'm going to make my first sweater with her help using vintage Carolyn yarn. I think that's awesome. I love it. I'm curious what the pattern is. Is it Tin Can Knits has a great pattern. There's a bunch of great beginner patterns out there for sure. Okay, Everdeena's got kids here. Got to go. Very good. Have a good Halloween. And then Deb, did I see you on here? Yes. Hello, Deb. Happy Halloween indeed. And let's see, your sweater, Lonnie, will be a 2026 fair entry. I like it. That's awesome. Okay, what else do we have? So, okay, so a couple of things new in the shop. First of all, I realized because I did this after last week's live, this is the color palette for the mystery colorway currently celebrating. Did y'all get it? Current because of the water. Anyway, so this is the color palette. I'm going to be doing a practice pot of it tomorrow. I already wrote out a dye recipe that I think will look very good. And so I've got the listing still up. If you haven't ordered yours, there's still time to get in on it. And I'll probably take down the listing sometime next week as I get ready to dye up the bulk of the orders for this. So there's that is on the site. And then also I talked a little bit last week, and my Dying to Knit people know all about this. So I was accidentally sent a package of some yarn it's just like Trusty Sock in the sense that it's the same fiber blend, 75-25 superwash merino and nylon. However, it's got 2 plies instead of 4, but it also has a higher twist. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to send it back. Let's play around with it. So I dyed up the skeins in 2 colorways. It is fingering weight, Trusty Sock. And so the first colorway that I did, I used basically the same dye technique, but different colors. And so the first one, this is called Orange. And I used blues, turquoise, teal with a couple of oranges. That's such a good colorway. So anyway, and it says, normally in parentheses where I have Trusty Sock, it says virtually Trusty Sock. So this is going to be it. I don't foresee this overtaking Trusty Sock and replacing it. But you never know. If I get a bunch of people saying, oh my gosh, I love it so much, it's perfect, then you never know what's going to happen. But for now, it's just something fun to play with. You can see that there is, let me see, can I get it to focus? It does have a higher twist than regular Trusty Sock. Let me see. So let me grab regular Trusty Sock. What is that piece of fuzz on my yarn? So there's regular Trusty Sock. You see that? And we love our Trusty Sock, right? But then you see this, see that higher twist, especially if you look down here towards the middle, you can see the higher twist, which is usually good for stitch definition. According to my research, it can be helpful strength-wise if it has a higher twist. So anyway, that's one of the colorways that's in the shop on that base. And then the other colorway is called Bloom Where You're Planted. And that's got some beautiful pinks and purple with the green, a couple greens going on there. So, and again, that slightly higher twist. So that's going to be it for now, as far as that goes. So if you order it, if you work it up right away or whenever. Just let me know what your thoughts are if you don't mind. All right. The other thing that we have, let's see, Kim. Yes, you better order it if you like it. Oh, Linda, I'm not sure how to say that. I'm not going to try to pronounce that. But I'm glad. Hey, if Linda recommends it, then there you go. I know, Laura, purple and green, right? Okay. And then the other thing that I have done this week is that I have been updating in between other things that I've had going on in the dye studio. I've been updating some of the all of the sparkle bases. So we have sparkly sock, sparkly DK, and starry sock. So a starry sock, which is what I have here. You've got Pomp and Circumstance, and Gemini I did on all three bases. Gemini is also back on Fluffy DK and minis if you're interested in that. Did some Swan White on the starry sock. And I realize it's been a while since I've talked about starry sock. This is Slate, which I did on all three sparkle bases. So, or Stellina bases, I should say. So Shanico, or this new starry sock is, it's 80% superwash Shanico and 20% silver Stellina. And somebody asked me a question. So I realized, oh, I know I talked about it on the live before, but it's been a while. So maybe I should remind y'all. So here's the deal with starry sock. This is kind of I'm just kind of have it in the shop now. I like it. I like that it's American wool, which I think is cool. And it does have a slightly higher twist than the sparkly sock or sparkly DK. However, so let me tell you, so Shanico, an American wool, I mentioned, it's an American breed of sheep that's its breeding is a mix of merino and Rambouillet. So I don't want to put my foot in my mouth or offend anybody. There are a lot of American breeds that I have tried over the years, and there's a reason why most of my bases are superwash merino based, because it's just good stuff. You know, it's strong. It's got, when you talk about all the technical information about sheep wool, it's got all the nice stuff. It makes for a super squishy, just a nice yarn to knit with. And so I've kind of avoided a lot of the American. I've tried them and I'm willing to try them. And so when I saw this I want to say it was at Southern Comforts, and I felt it and I was like, that is gorgeous stuff. Did some research and it, no wonder it's a mix between merino and Rambouillet. So it's a nice yarn. So and 20% Stellina. I mean, come on. What's not to love? So I've got it in, will it be a forever base in the shop? I don't know. Some of that will depend on you all and what you think of it. It doesn't have, like I said, it's 80-20 superwash Shanico and 20% Stellina. It does not have extra nylon. So if you're a sock knitter who prefers to have your nylon in there, then this may not be it. It is called starry sock, but fluffy sock is also called sock. I do that just to keep my names consistent. I wouldn't recommend knitting socks with just one strand of fluffy sock. Now, hold it together with trusty sock, and you've got yourself a match made in heaven. Make some beautiful DK weight socks out of that. You could even make my fleece your feet pattern. But that's for another day. So yeah, so as far as the name goes, that's why it's called sock. It's a fingering weight yarn, and I just did it to keep the naming consistent. But would I necessarily knit, if you're someone who is willing to knit socks out of a single ply merino, then you'd be happy knitting socks out of these too, I would think. But a lot of sock knitters probably want something with some added nylon or silk or something like that. So yes, Kim, it would make a beautiful holiday shawl, a sweater. You can do anything else with these. You can do socks with them if you want. I'm not saying don't, but I'm not going to. But yeah, you can do a shawl, a sweater. That's my goal. My far off plans right now is once I'm done with my Swan sweater, I would love to make a sweater out of starry sock because it's got some beautiful. I mean, just hello, look at that, Selena. It's like you're looking at glistening snow. It's just beautiful. So, and again, I like that it's American. That's kind of, yeah. So it's got some definite pluses for sure. You can do mitts and whatever, anything else that you want to knit with that or crochet. You're good to go. So what else? All right. Okay. Yes, let's talk about Advent calendars. So Hanukkah is not ready to go, but that's okay. We're still on schedule. We are right where we should be. This is what your Christmas Advent box looks like. Got a little sticker. This one's mine. And they went out today. In fact, y'all, it was apparently, and I kind of knew this in the back of my mind, but I just didn't, I don't know why I didn't look into it more. Our post lady happened to be driving by. Bo was loading up the car with these and other packages that needed to go, and we were getting ready to head to the post office. And the post lady comes by and is delivering a box and told Bo that, I can just take those for you. And she said that, and I was like, well, she said, I can do this from now on. And she said, you just have to schedule it before 2 a.m. the night before. And I was like, well, but is that okay? Because I was trying to get a feel for her. Because, it's kind of like when I first started Swan City, I went to the local post office and I told them, I was like, so I'll be shipping out of my, this area. And I just kind of wanted to get a feel, is that, because it's a small post office, was that something they were obvious? I know that they have to be okay with it. They have to do what they're doing, but you want people to be happy about this, right? And of course, the lady was like, oh yeah, and, kind of talked about it a little bit. And since then, the few times that I go to the post office, because it's normally Bo who goes, but the few times I've seen other, obviously, business owners take their packages in. So they're very accustomed to it. But anyway, the post lady today was like, actually, it's good for me because then it shows that I have a business on my route. And she didn't mention why, but apparently that's a good thing for her to have a business on her route. And I was like, okay, well, from now on, we won't be going to the post office anymore. Bo won't be going to the post office anymore. So unless it's something that I didn't get, scheduled the night before for a pickup. So anyway, so yeah, that was very exciting. So you should have gotten a notice. All but one went out, and that's just because I have to cake the yarns yet. So that'll go out early next week, right on schedule, because they actually went out a little bit early. So just a reminder, these, if you don't remember, it's a set of 4 bundles that you're getting. You either order Trusty Sock or Trusty DK, and you get 4 sets of a full skein and a mini. And included are some Christmas postcards that inspired the colorways, and then a little note from me tucked in there as well. So, but the first Advent Sunday, which is when you're supposed to open them, is November 30th. So depending on when you get it, I haven't heard any crazy stories about the post office lately. It used to be that, oh, my package sat out in California for 3 days before it came back across the country. I haven't heard any weird stories. I don't know. Are they cleaning up their act? I don't know. Was that a COVID thing? Who knows? But so hopefully everybody will get their package pretty quick and you'll have it in plenty of time. So you can open your packages whenever, as I put in the note. If you do, then if you open it early, please don't post on social media ahead of time so that it doesn't ruin the surprise for those who are waiting and opening. Your 4 dates are Sunday, November 30th, Sunday, December 7th, December 14th, and December 21st. Those are the 4 Advent Sundays. So let me know how this is my first time shipping these boxes. So let me know if for some reason if everything's a mess or whatever. I'm learning as I go. So hopefully all is well. Morgan and I had a fun time wrapping all of them in tissue paper this week. We watched Wednesday. We finished up season 2 of Wednesday on Netflix while we were watching. It seems to me we watched something else too, but anyway, so she helped me. And then yesterday I got all the labels on them and everything. And so they are out the door. So let's see. But yes, I do always have one off sometimes that need to go. Linda, it's becoming fleece your feet weather. It really is. That pattern, I'll have to bring it out and show y'all for anyone who hasn't seen it. It's a good pattern for some nice cozy socks for sure. And then Lonnie, I think that shows they have value on it. Probably so, which is a good. I'm happy to help with that for sure. She was very sweet, our post lady, very kind. Oh, your mailman won't give you a printout for. Oh yeah, she did not. That's true. That's one thing. When we go to the post office, I always get a receipt. She did not give us a receipt unless she gave it to Bo. But she did scan them right there. So yeah, that's a good point, Linda. It's something I'll have to definitely pay attention to. Lonnie, yes, I'm taking 2 packages on vacation. Absolutely. And yes, Hallmark movies are in full swing. So I caught up on Mistletoe Murders. I was just looking at the Hallmark schedule. I haven't been watching the other Christmas movies yet. It's a little early for me, although I'm loving Mistletoe Murders. Tonight is the season finale of season 1. And some of you probably know this. Apparently it's based on a book series. And obviously there's a lot being left out. They keep implying, or not implying, they keep referring to her former life, the main character. But I don't understand what her former life was. I mean, was she a spy? Did I miss something? I don't know. I think once this is done, I'm going to have to go read the books because I have a feeling the books are good. We shall see. Anyway, so yeah. So, but I found at first I was worried. Bo looked for me on demand and the show was not there, but it is now. So if you get Hallmark Channel and you have on demand, like we do with our cable, Mistletoe Murders is now on demand. So you can go in and catch up if you're interested. And I'm pretty sure you can get it on Amazon if you're willing to pay. Let's see, Hanukkah. Yes, Hanukkah is 8 minis. So, and I'm open to suggestions. So I kind of did the 4 sets for Advent, Christmas Advent, just as a trial, and then the 8 minis. It's a lot of work. I will say that. So I was glad to only have 4 things to wrap. So there's a lot of moving pieces to that. So I kind of like the idea of keeping it somewhat simple in terms of organizing. But if y'all have other things that you're like, oh, I would love to see this for Christmas and or Hanukkah, let me know. I'm open to suggestions and willing to try new things. So yeah, Linda, I don't know why it's not. You would think it would be across the board. Like if you have the app that should be accessible. It just is very odd to me. Oh, okay. But you do have the on demand. Okay, there you go. Yeah, it's definitely on demand. So, yes, Deb. So the knitting show, which is, I forget what it's called. The Game of Wool. Is that what it is with Tom Daly? I know it's on channel 4, but that's for the UK. So, I know it comes out on November 2nd, which would be Sunday. So my plan was, okay, once it comes out, I'll Google it, because, you know, when you Google a show, there's a where to watch and it'll tell you where all it's available. So then I thought I'd check that plus all my streaming services, because you never know, it might be available on Amazon for purchase. That's not what they're saying right now. They're just saying, oh, it's on channel 4. Okay. I don't get channel 4. So I think there is an app that you can get, though, and maybe it would be on the app. I don't know. That's something. Whoever finds it first, let us know. Do a post in the Swan City Stitchers. All right. Oh, that's a good question, Linda. Yeah, a lot of needle stitch stoppers are not necessarily great for the tiny. But I do know that my Coco Knits stitch stoppers, the tiniest ones that they have, will work until as long as you don't get them stretched out. They will work on your little 9-inch circulars if you're interested in that. Okay, couple of important announcements. First of all, daylight savings time and Sunday. Don't forget to set your clocks back. Fall back. That's how I remember. So I get an extra hour of sleep on Sunday. And if you're in Dying to Knit, next Thursday, I will see you. It's a week early, I know, but oh, you were hoping for some cute ones. Well, be particular. Why? No, I'm just kidding. I know. And a lot of the big, I guess, are they plastic? Whatever, the cute stitch stoppers. Yeah, they're too big for the 9-inch circulars for sure. So, yeah, that would be good to have. And then, oh yeah, that's a good question. You could message Anne from Twin Mommy Creations, because she's also good about making stuff. Like if there's something that you want and it's not available, then sometimes she's good at finding a way to make it happen. So we should message her. All right. So Dying to Knit is next week. Yes, it's a week early because I will be out of town after that for the Alabama Fiber Festival, which I'm excited about. And what else? Okay, I think I mentioned this last week. And then we'll be home for a week after that. And then I will be out of town for the week of Thanksgiving. It'll be my first week of vacation in a year. So I'm excited. And then December 6th and 13th, I have some local events. So December 6th, I will be at Knitcessities in Orlando doing a trunk show. And December 13th, I will be at the Tampa Fiber Conference, which I talked about. But if you missed it, then check out. There's a link on my website down at the bottom where I have all the dates of where I'll be if you're interested in some information about that. All right. Oh, Susan, you're going to see Little Shop of Horrors tonight. No trick-or-treating for you. That's all right. Little Shop of Horrors will be good. That'll be awesome. Okay, I think that is it. Trying to remember. Let me look around me. Is there anything that I've forgotten? I don't see anything that I haven't talked about. So I think we're good to go. So next week, I was thinking I only had 2 weekends at home, but I've got 3. So I'll be right back here next week. And yeah, so join me next week. And if I've missed anything, then you know how to get a hold of me, Carolyn@swancityyarn.com. All right. Y'all have a great weekend. I hope you get some crafting in. Enjoy. If you have beautiful weather, enjoy it. I know I will be. And yeah, I'll see you next time. All right. Thank you all so much for joining me. If you haven't subscribed, please help the girl out and do it now. And hit the thumbs up. That always helps me out as well. Comments help. I know sometimes you're like, I don't know what to say. Well, you just say hi. All right, everybody. Have a great weekend. I'll see you next time. All right. Bye.